The relationship that ended years ago. The mistake you still punish yourself for. The future you keep trying to control. The version of yourself you think you should be. You carry it all. Every day. Every night. And it's exhausting. What if letting go isn't giving up, but finally setting yourself free? Welcome to the art of letting go. In the next hours, you will discover why holding on hurts so much, and exactly how to release what no longer serves you. Welcome to the infinite library. You are here because something inside you is tired of carrying the weight of the past, tired of replaying what went wrong, tired of waiting for things to be different, tired of the quiet ache that says if only. Letting go is not a one-time event. It is an art, a practice, a gentle, courageous skill that frees your mind, your heart, and your life. This audiobook is not about forgetting. It is not about pretending it didn't hurt. It is about learning to release the grip that keeps you stuck so you can move forward lighter, wiser, and finally at peace. Over the next 10 chapters, we will explore the deep psychology of why we hold on, the emotional roots that make letting go feel impossible, and the practical, life-changing tools that actually work. You will meet real people who have walked this path. You will receive clear, step-by-step guidance. And by the end, you will know exactly how to let go, not just once, but as a way of living. Take a slow, deep breath with me right now. Inhale, exhale. Feel your shoulders drop just a little. That small release you just felt, that is the beginning of the art of letting go. You are ready. Let's begin the art of letting go. Chapter 1. Why letting go feels so hard. Letting go is simple in theory, but incredibly difficult in practice. In this chapter, you will discover the hidden psychological and emotional reasons why your mind and heart fight so hard to hold on. You will see why the struggle is normal and why understanding it is the first step to freedom. Stay with me. By the end of this chapter, you will finally understand why letting go has felt impossible and why it doesn't have to stay that way. The paradox is this: the very thing we need most, letting go, feels like the hardest thing we will ever do. We know logically that holding on to resentment, regret, or an old identity hurts us, yet we grip tighter. Why? Because letting go is not a logical decision. It is an emotional surrender. And our emotions have their own powerful reasons for holding on. In this chapter, we will gently pull back the curtain and look at the real reasons letting go feels so difficult. No judgment, only understanding. Because when you truly understand the why, the how becomes possible. Explaining the problem, letting go feels hard because it triggers deep survival instincts. Your brain interprets letting go as loss. Loss of identity, loss of safety, loss of the story you have told yourself about who you are. So it fights back with every tool it has. Fear, anxiety, rumination, and the illusion of control. We hold on because we believe the lie that if I just think about this enough, I can fix it. Or if I hold on a little longer, maybe it will change. But the truth is, some things are not meant to be fixed. Some stories are not meant to continue. Some pain is not meant to be carried forever. The struggle is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are human. Meet Rachel. Rachel, 39, spent 6 years after her divorce replaying every argument, every mistake, every what if I had done things differently. She knew she needed to let go. She read books. She tried therapy. But every time she tried to move on, the thoughts pulled her back. She wasn't weak. She was protecting herself from the pain of accepting that the marriage was truly over. Her mind was using overthinking as armor. When she finally understood the emotional root, the fear of being alone and the grief she had never allowed herself to feel, she was able to begin the real work of letting go. Chapter 2. The attachments we carry. Identifying what you're really holding on to. Letting go feels impossible because we're not just releasing events. We are releasing deep emotional attachments. In this chapter, you will discover the hidden attachments that keep you stuck. Attachments to past, to identity, to outcomes, to people, and to the story of who you think you should be. You will learn to see exactly what you're holding on to and why it feels so painful to release it. By the end, you will have clarity on what needs to be let go first. Stay with me. Understanding your attachments is the key that unlocks true freedom. The real reason letting go feels so hard is not because you are weak or broken. It is because you are attached. We don't let go of things. We let go of the emotional meaning we have given them. That meaning becomes part of our identity, our safety, our hope for future. When we try to release it, the mind screams, if I let this go, who will I be? What will protect me? What will give my life meaning? This chapter is about seeing those attachments clearly, without judgment, because the moment you see what you are truly holding on to, the grip begins to loosen naturally. Most people think they are holding on to a person, a mistake, or a lost opportunity. But the real attachment is deeper. It is the attachment to the identity you build around the pain. I am the one who was betrayed. The hope that things could still change. Maybe one day they will come back. The fear that without this story, your life will lose meaning. These attachments create an invisible chain. Every time you try to move forward, the chain pulls you back. The mind says, if I let go, I will lose part of myself. This is why letting go feels like dying. Because in a way, a small part of the old identity must die for the new self to be born. Meet Sophia. Sophia, 41, spent 7 years after her divorce unable to move on. She said she was over it. But every new relationship triggered the same fears. She replayed old arguments. She checked her ex's social media. She kept the wedding photos just in case. She wasn't attached to her ex anymore. She was attached to the version of herself that felt worthy only when she was loved. She was attached to the story, I was a good one who was wronged. When she finally named the real attachment, the fear that she was unlovable without that marriage, the grip began to loosen. She didn't have to force herself to move on. She simply stopped needing the old story to define her worth. The 5 major attachments we carry. Attachment to the past, regret, nostalgia, and what if thinking keep us anchored in yesterday. We romanticize the good times or punish ourselves for the bad ones, refusing to accept that the past is gone. Attachment to identity, I am the victim. I am the strong one who never cries. I am the person who always gets it right. Letting go threatens the story we tell about who we are. Attachment to people even when the relationship is over. We stay emotionally tethered because we fear being alone or believe no one else will ever love us the same way. Attachment to outcomes we hold on to how we think life should be. The perfect job, the perfect body, the perfect future. This attachment creates constant resistance to what is. Attachment to suffering sometimes we hold on because the pain has become familiar. It feels safer than the unknown freedom on the other side. The psychology behind each attachment. Deep exploration of attachment theory, loss aversion, identity fusion, fear of the unknown, and how the brain treats letting go as a threat to survival. How to identify your own attachments, practical exercises, and reflective questions you can use immediately to name what you're holding on to. Why naming the attachment weakens its power neuroscience explanation. When we label the attachment, activity in the amygdala decreases, and the prefrontal cortex regains control. The gentle art of releasing one attachment at a time. You don't have to let go of everything at once. Start with the smallest attachment and build momentum. Chapter 3. The grief and fear of the unknown. Why letting go feels like dying. Letting go doesn't just feel difficult. It often feels like a kind of death. In this chapter, you will discover the deep grief and primal fear of the unknown that make release feel so terrifying. You will learn why your brain and heart treat letting go as a threat to survival, and how to move through that fear without being consumed by it. By the end, you will understand that the pain you feel is not a sign you are doing it wrong. It is a natural price of freedom. Stay with me. Facing this grief is the doorway to the peace you have been seeking. Here is the paradox at the heart of letting go. The very act that will set you free feels, in the moment, like you are losing everything. Your mind doesn't experience letting go as a gentle release. It experiences it as a death of the old identity, a death of the story you have told yourself for years, a death of the future you had imagined, a death of the safety you thought you had. This is why so many people get to the edge of letting go and then pull back, not because they are weak, but because the human brain is wired to fear the unknown more than it fears familiar pain. In this chapter, we're going to look directly at that fear and that grief, not to make you feel worse, but to finally make them lose their power over you. When you understand what is really happening inside you when you try to let go, the process becomes kinder, clearer, and ultimately possible. Explaining the problem letting go triggers one of the most primal fears we have as human beings. The fear of the void. When you let go of a person, a relationship, a dream, a resentment, or an old version of yourself, you create an empty space where something once lived. Your brain hates empty space. It interprets emptiness as danger. So it floods you with grief, anxiety, panic, and an overwhelming urge to fill the void immediately, often by grabbing onto the very thing you're trying to release. This is why people stay in toxic relationships, hold on to grudges for decades, or keep replaying the past long after it's ended. The grief and fear feel worse than the pain of staying stuck. The mind says, at least the pain I know is familiar. The unknown is terrifying. This chapter is about making the unknown less terrifying by understanding it. Meet Daniel. Daniel, 52 years old, lost his wife to cancer 3 years ago. He knew he needed to let go of the grief and move forward with his life. He tried everything, therapy, support groups, keeping busy, but every time he tried to let go, a wave of panic would hit him. He would feel as if he was betraying her memory, as if moving on meant erasing her. The fear of the unknown future without her was so intense that he preferred the familiar pain of grief. When he finally understood that the grief was not just sadness, it was also a deep fear of who he would be without her, he was able to begin the real work of letting go. He didn't forget her. He simply stopped using the grief as a way to avoid the empty space of a new life. The grief and fear of the unknown. Letting go is not just a decision. It is a profound emotional and neurological process that mirrors the stages of grief. The 5 stages of letting go. Denial, this can't be happening. Maybe if I hold on a little longer, things will change. The mind refuses to accept the reality that something must end. Anger, why me? Why did this happen? It's not fair. Anger is the mind's way of fighting against the loss. Bargaining. If I just do X, maybe Y will happen. If I hold on, perhaps it will get better. The mind tries to negotiate with reality. Depression, the heavy sadness that comes when you finally see the truth. This is a stage where many people get stuck, mistaking the sadness for a permanent state. Acceptance, not, I'm happy about this, but this is what is, I can live with it. This is where freedom begins. Each stage has its own biochemistry. Denial and bargaining activate hope chemicals. Anger floods you with adrenaline. Depression lowers serotonin. Acceptance slowly restores balance. The fear of the void, when you let go, you create an empty space. The brain treats this emptiness as a threat to survival. This is why people often fill the void immediately with new distractions, new relationships, or new obsessions. Anything to avoid feeling the nothingness. Neuroscience of the fear response fMRI studies show that the amygdala lights up intensely during attempts to let go. The same areas that activate during physical danger also activate during emotional release. Your body literally feels like it is in danger when you try to let go. Attachment theory and letting go people with anxious or avoidant attachment styles find letting go especially difficult. The fear of abandonment or the fear of intimacy makes the void feel unbearable. Cultural and societal influences modern society glorifies holding on. Never give up, fight for it, stay strong. We are rarely taught the wisdom of graceful release. The beautiful truth on the other side, when you finally move through the grief and fear, something extraordinary happens. You discover that the void is not empty. It is full of possibility. It is a space where your true self can finally emerge. Chapter 4. The practical tools. How to actually let go step by step. You now understand why letting go feels so hard and why it triggers grief and fear. In this chapter, you will move from understanding to action. You will learn the exact practical step-by-step tools that make letting go possible in real life. Not as a one-time event, but as a gentle daily practice. You will discover how to release attachment safely, without forcing or suppressing, so that peace can actually take root. Stay with me. This is where the art of letting go becomes something you can do. Understanding the problem is important, but understanding alone will not set you free. The moment you stop analyzing why you hold on and start practicing how to let go, everything changes. Letting go is not a feeling you wait for. It is a skill you practice. Just like learning to play an instrument or ride a bike, it feels awkward at first, then uncomfortable, and finally natural. This chapter is your hands-on guide. It gives you the exact tools, the daily practices, and the step-by-step process that thousands of people have used to move from being stuck to feeling light and free. You do not need to wait until you feel ready. You only need to begin. Explaining the problem, most people stay stuck because they believe letting go must happen all at once or not at all. They wait for a perfect moment of courage or clarity that never arrives. The truth is, letting go is not one big dramatic act. It is 1,000 small, gentle choices made day after day. Without practical tools, the intention to let go remains just a wish. With practical tools, it becomes a repeatable skill you can use for the rest of your life. Real-world example, meet Laura. Laura, 37, had been holding on to a painful breakup for 4 years. She understood the psychology. She knew the grief and fear, but she still couldn't move forward. Then she began using the step-by-step practices you will learn in this chapter, one small tool at a time. She started with a simple daily release ritual. She added self-compassion when the fear rose. She practiced surrendering the outcome instead of trying to control it. Within 6 weeks, she felt a lightness she hadn't known in years. She didn't force herself to get over it. She simply practiced letting go until it became her new way of being. The practical tools of letting go. Letting go is an art, and every art has tools. Here are the proven, practical tools that turn intention into lasting freedom. Tool 1. The daily release ritual, 10 minutes every morning. A simple 4-step practice you do at the start of each day to gently loosen your grip on yesterday. Tool 2. The surrender statement, a powerful 1-sentence declaration you repeat when the mind wants to hold on. I release this to make space for what is truly meant for me. Tool 3. The empty hand meditation, a guided visualization where you physically open your hands and imagine placing the attachment into the hand of a higher power or the universe. Tool 4. The identity audit, weekly exercise to identify which parts of your identity are tied to the thing you are trying to release. Tool 5. The 2-list method, write 2 lists. What I am losing by holding on and what I am gaining by letting go. Read them daily until the second list feels more alive. Tool 6. The grief allowance window, give yourself permission to feel the grief fully for 15 minutes each day, then consciously shift to the next step. Tool 7. The replacement principle, instead of just removing something, consciously add something new and positive into the space you have created. Tool 8. The forgiveness bridge, a step-by-step forgiveness practice that works even when you don't feel ready to forgive. Tool 9. The future self letter, write a letter from your future self who has already let go. Read it when the fear returns. Tool 10. The weekly letting go review, a structured Sunday ritual to celebrate what you released that week and gently release anything still lingering. Chapter 5. The power of forgiveness, releasing resentment and self-blame. You now have the practical tools to begin letting go, but many people still feel stuck because of resentment and self-blame. In this chapter, you will discover forgiveness as the ultimate act of letting go, not as a weakness, but as the most powerful form of freedom. You will learn why forgiveness is so difficult, how it actually works in the brain and heart, and the exact step-by-step process to forgive others and yourself without forcing it. By the end, you will see that true forgiveness is not about them. It is the final key that sets you free. Stay with me. This chapter changes everything. Here is the deepest truth about letting go. You can release the person, the situation, or the outcome, but until you release the resentment and self-blame attached to it, you are still carrying the weight. Forgiveness is not the nice thing to do. It is the final, most powerful act of letting go. Most people misunderstand forgiveness. They think it means, I agree with what happened, or I have to forget. That is not forgiveness. True forgiveness is simply this: I no longer carry the emotional poison of this story in my body and mind. It is the moment you stop using the past as a weapon against yourself. In this chapter, We are going to explore forgiveness not as a moral obligation, but as a practical, life-changing skill that completes the art of letting go. The problem forgiveness feels almost impossible for most overthinkers because it triggers the same survival instincts we explored earlier. The mind believes, if I forgive, I am say it was okay. If I forgive myself, I am letting myself off the hook. If I forgive them, they win. So it clings to resentment as protection. Resentment feels like justice. Self-blame feels like responsibility. But both are illusions. Resentment is drinking poison and hoping the other person suffers. Self-blame is carrying a backpack full of rocks while trying to run forward. The longer you hold these emotions, the heavier your life becomes. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the smartest, most self-respecting thing you can do. Meet Carlos. Carlos, 44, had been carrying resentment toward his father for 25 years. Every time he thought about his childhood, the anger rose. He knew it was poisoning his own life, his relationships, his health, his peace, but he could not let it go. He felt that forgiving would mean betraying the child he once was. When he finally learned the true meaning of forgiveness in this chapter, something shifted. He didn't excuse what happened. He simply stopped carrying the emotional poison. Within months, his anxiety dropped dramatically, his sleep improved, and he was able to be a more present father to his own children. Carlos didn't forgive for his father's sake. He forgave for his own freedom. The power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood and powerful practices in human psychology. It is not a feeling. It is a deliberate decision followed by consistent practice. The neuroscience of forgiveness, when you hold resentment, the amygdala stays activated and the prefrontal cortex is suppressed. When you forgive, the opposite happens. The stress response calms and executive function returns. Studies from Stanford and Emory University show measurable reductions in cortisol and blood pressure within weeks of genuine forgiveness practice. The difference between forgiveness and reconciliation forgiveness is an internal act. Reconciliation is an external one. You can forgive without ever speaking to the person again. Forgiving others, the 5-step process. Acknowledge the pain without minimizing it. Separate the person from the act. Choose to stop punishing yourself with the memory. Wish them well, not for them, but for your own peace. Replace the story with a new one. Forgiving yourself. The most important forgiveness, self-forgiveness, is often harder than forgiving others. Detailed guidance on how to release self-blame, guilt, and shame without bypassing accountability. Common myths about forgiveness. Forgiveness means I have to forget. Forgiveness means I have to trust them again. If I forgive, I am weak. Each myth is dismantled with clear explanations and real-life examples. Daily forgiveness practice, a simple 10-minute daily ritual you can use for the rest of your life. How forgiveness completes the art of letting go. When you forgive, the final emotional chain breaks. You are no longer tethered to the past. You become free to create a new future. Chapter 6. The freedom of surrender. Trusting life after letting go. You now have the tools to let go and the power of forgiveness to release resentment. In this chapter, you will discover the beautiful freedom that comes when you finally surrender. When you stop fighting life and start trusting it, you will learn how surrender is not giving up, but the ultimate act of strength, and how it opens a door to a lighter, more joyful way of living. By the end, you will know how to move from, I must control everything, to, I am safe to let life flow. Stay with me. This is where letting go becomes true freedom. Here is a paradox that changes everything. The more tightly you try to control life, the more life slips through your fingers. The moment you stop gripping and start surrendering, life begins to support you in ways you could never force. Surrender is not weakness. It is the highest form of wisdom. It is the realization that you do not have to carry the weight of the universe on your shoulders. You only have to carry your own presence, your own values, and your own next right step. In this chapter, we move from the hard work of releasing to the gentle art of trusting. You will learn how to surrender without fear, how to trust the unknown, and how to live in the beautiful space that opens when you finally let go. Most people who have done the work of letting go still struggle with one final hurdle. They let go of the old, but they do not fully surrender to the new. They release the person, the resentment, or the old dream, but they keep trying to control what happens next. They say, I let go, but I need to make sure everything turns out okay. This half surrender keeps them in a low level of anxiety and overthinking. True surrender means trusting that life knows something you don't. It means relaxing into the flow instead of trying to steer every current. Without this final step of surrender, letting go remains incomplete. You have emptied the cup, but you are still afraid to let it be filled again. Real-world example, meet Maya. Maya, 29, had successfully let go of a toxic relationship and a career that no longer fit her. She had done the forgiveness work and the practical release rituals, yet she still felt anxious every day. She kept asking, what if I made a mistake? What if the new path doesn't work out? When she finally learned the art of surrender in this chapter, everything shifted. She stopped trying to force the future and started trusting the present. Within months, new opportunities flowed to her effortlessly. She said, I thought letting go was the hard part. Surrender was the part that set me free. The freedom of surrender. Surrender is the final and most liberating stage of the art of letting go. What surrender really means, surrender is not passive resignation. It is an active, courageous choice to stop fighting reality and start cooperating with it. The neuroscience of surrender: when you surrender, the amygdala calms down and the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, activates. Cortisol levels drop. The prefrontal cortex regains full function. You move from survival mode to thriving mode. The stages of surrender. Resistance. I can't let go of control. Reluctant acceptance. I guess I have to. Willing surrender. I choose to trust. Peaceful flow. Life is supporting me. Practical surrender practices. The daily surrender prayer / statement, the hands open meditation, the one-day surrender experiment, trusting the next right step instead of the whole future. Common fears that block surrender. Fear of being out of control, fear of the unknown, future fear of looking weak. Each fear is addressed with clear explanations and practical antidotes. How surrender creates space for miracles, real-life stories, and scientific evidence, showing how surrender often leads to better outcomes than control ever could. Living in the flow state, what daily life looks like when you have truly surrendered. Lighter decisions, deeper presence, more synchronicity, and profound sense of inner peace. Chapter 7. The new identity, who you become when you truly let go. Letting go is not just about releasing the old. It is about stepping into a new, lighter version of yourself. In this chapter, you will discover who you become when you truly let go. The calm, confident, present, and free person who no longer carries the weight of the past. You will explore how your identity shifts, what new possibilities open up, and how to consciously create the new self that emerges after surrender. By the end, you will see that letting go is not loss. It is the birth of more authentic, peaceful you. Stay with me. This is where the transformation becomes permanent. Here is the most beautiful truth about the art of letting go. When you finally release what no longer serves you, you do not become less. You become more and more yourself. Letting go is not subtraction. It is subtraction of the false layers, so the real you can shine through. Most people fear letting go because they believe they will lose part of their identity. The opposite is true. You lose the heavy, outdated version of yourself and step into a lighter, clearer, more authentic one. In this chapter, we explore the profound identity shift that happens when you master the art of letting go. You will see what your new self looks like, how to nurture it, and how to live from this liberated place every day. Explaining the problem, many people do the work of letting go, but still feel stuck because they try to hold on to their old identity while releasing the old story. They say, I want to let go of the pain, but I don't know who I am without it. This creates an identity vacuum, an uncomfortable space where the old self is gone, but the new self has not yet been claimed. The mind hates this vacuum, so it tries to pull the old identity back in. True letting go requires you to consciously create a new identity, one that is not built on pain, resentment, or past wounds, but on presence, worthiness, and possibility. Without this step, letting go remains incomplete. With it, you become someone entirely new. Real-world example, meet Nadia. Nadia, 34, has spent years defining herself as a girl who was abandoned and the one who always gets hurt. Even after she let go of the toxic relationship, she still carried that identity. She attracted similar situations and felt unworthy of good things. When she began consciously creating a new identity through practices in this chapter, I am someone who is worthy of love. I am someone who chooses peace. I am someone who trusts life. Everything shifted. New opportunities appeared. Her relationships became healthier. She finally felt at home in her own skin. Nadia didn't just let go of the past. She let go of the old version of herself and stepped into the woman she was always meant to be. The new identity after letting go. Letting go creates a profound identity transformation. You move from, I am the victim. I am the one who chose healing. I am broken. I am whole and worthy. I am defined by my past. I am defined by my presence and choices. The psychology of identity reconstruction, how the brain forms and reforms identity, and why letting go is one of the most powerful identity resets available to us. The 5 pillars of your new identity. Worthiness. I am enough exactly as I am. Presence. I live in the now, not in the past or future. Trust. I trust myself and I trust life. Compassion. I treat myself and others with kindness. Openness. I am open to new possibilities. Practical exercises to build the new identity. Daily identity affirmations with emotional embodiment of future self. Visualization practice identity. Journaling prompts mirror work. For self-worth, creating new rituals that reinforce the new self. How to handle identity crises during letting go of the uncomfortable. Who am I now? Phase is normal. How to navigate it with grace and turn it into growth. The gifts of the new identity. Deeper relationships, better decisions, increased creativity, natural confidence, and profound sense of inner peace. Chapter 8. The liberated life. Living fully after mastering the art of letting go. You have now walked the full path of letting go. From understanding why it feels so hard, through the grief and fear, the practical tools, forgiveness, surrender, and the birth of a new identity. In this final chapter, you will step into the liberated life. What everyday living looks like when you have truly mastered the art of letting go. You will see the profound freedom, joy, and lightness that become possible when you no longer carry the heavy weight of the past. This is where letting go stops being a practice and becomes your natural way of being. Stay with me until the end. This is the life you have been working toward. Imagine waking up each morning with a light heart, no heavy emotional baggage, no constant mental rehearsal of old stories, no need to control every outcome or punish yourself for the past. You move through your day with presence, ease, and quiet confidence. Relationships feel deeper because you are fully there. Decisions come more naturally because you're no longer paralyzed by what-ifs. Challenges still arise, but you meet them with clarity instead of fear. This is not a dream. This is a liberated life that becomes available when you master the art of letting go. In this final chapter, we explore what this new life actually looks and feels like, day to day, moment to moment, and how to protect and nurture it for the rest of your journey. Explaining the problem, many people do the deep work of letting go, but then struggle to fully live in the freedom they have created. They release the old pain, but they don't know how to fill the new space with joy and presence. They know how to let go, but they don't yet know how to live free. Without intentionally stepping into and protecting the liberated life, old patterns can slowly creep back. The art of letting go is not complete until it becomes your natural way of being, a sustainable, joyful way of moving through the world. Real-world example, meet Amara. Amara, 40, had spent years trapped in resentment toward her family and regret over career choices. After working through all the previous chapters, understanding the attachments, moving through grief, practicing forgiveness and surrender, and building a new identity, she finally felt free. But the real test came when life threw new challenges at her. Instead of falling back into overthinking and holding on, she responded from her new liberated self. She felt lighter in her body, more present with her children, and open to new opportunities. She said, I didn't just let go of the past. I let go of the version of me that needed the past to define her. Now I wake up every day feeling like my life finally belongs to me. The liberated life. What does daily life look like when you have truly mastered the art of letting go? 1. Morning freedom. You wake up and your mind is quiet. You begin the day with gratitude and presence instead of worry and rumination. A simple morning ritual anchors you in the new identity. 2. Relationships transformed, you show up fully for the people you love. You no longer bring the weight of old stories into new interactions. Boundaries become natural. Love flows more freely. 3. Decision-making with ease. You make choices from clarity and values instead of fear and over-analysis. You trust yourself to handle whatever comes. 4. Emotional resilience. Difficult emotions still arise, but they no longer hijack you. You feel them, learn from them, and let them pass without building a new story around them. 5. Creative and purposeful living. With a mental and emotional space freed up, creativity and purpose naturally emerge. You have energy for what truly matters. 6. A deep inner peace. There's an underlying calm that stays with you even when life is busy or challenging. You trust life. You trust yourself. How to protect and nurture the liberated life. Daily maintenance practices, regular identity check-ins, creating supportive environments, gentle course correction when old patterns appear. The long-term gifts of mastering letting go, improved health, deeper relationships, greater joy, increased resilience, and profound sense of aliveness. Living as a liberated self, you become someone who responds instead of reacts, chooses peace over being right, trusts the timing of life, lives in the present while still moving toward meaningful goals. Chapter 9. The Daily Practice, Making Letting Go a Way of Life. Letting go is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice that becomes your natural way of living. In this chapter, you will learn how to turn the art of letting go into a sustainable lifestyle. You will discover simple, repeatable daily rituals, weekly reviews, and lifelong habits that keep you light, present, and free. By the end, letting go will no longer feel like hard work. It will feel like coming home to yourself. Stay with me. This is where freedom becomes effortless. The difference between temporary relief and lasting freedom is practice. Many people let go once during a powerful moment, only to slowly pick the weight back up again. The ones who stay free are the ones who turn letting go into a daily practice, a quiet, consistent way of being. Letting go is like breathing. You don't do it once and expect to stay alive forever. You do it gently, repeatedly, every single day. In this chapter, we move from big breakthroughs to small, sustainable habits. You will learn exactly how to weave the art of letting go into the fabric of your everyday life so that peace becomes your default state. Contextual agitation. Explaining the problem most people treat letting go like a special event, something they do during a crisis or after a major loss. When the intensity fades, they slowly return to old patterns of holding, worrying, and overthinking. The reason is simple. They never build a daily practice. Without consistent, gentle repetition, the old neural pathways regain strength and the new ones fade. True mastery of letting go is not dramatic. It is quiet, humble, and daily. It is choosing presence over rumination, surrender over control, and compassion over self-judgment, one moment at a time. Real-world example, meet Priya. Priya, 35, had a powerful breakthrough after her divorce. She let go of resentment and began to feel lighter. But 6 months later, old patterns started returning during a stressful work period. Instead of giving up, she created a simple daily letting go practice, a 10-minute morning ritual, an evening review, and quick surrender pauses throughout the day. Within 3 months, the practice became automatic. She no longer had to try to let go. It had become her natural response to life. She now moves through challenges with grace and returns to peace much faster. Priya didn't just let go once. She made letting go her way of life. Making letting go a way of life. Letting go becomes sustainable when it moves from occasional effort to daily rhythm. The daily letting go practice, morning ritual, 10 minutes. A simple 4-step morning sequence you can do every day to start light and free. The evening release review, a gentle nightly practice to release the day's attachments before sleep. The midday surrender pause, a 30-second tool you can use anytime you notice yourself gripping or overthinking. Weekly letting go review, a structured Sunday practice to celebrate progress and gently release anything still lingering. Seasonal deep letting go work, how to do deeper releases during natural transition points in life, New Year, birthdays, equinoxes, etc. Building supportive habits and environment. Digital minimalism to reduce triggers, creating physical spaces that promote presence, surrounding yourself with people who model healthy letting go. Handling life's inevitable triggers, how to respond when old wounds are activated by new events, without falling back into long-term holding. The long-term transformation, what your life looks like after 6 months, 1 year, and 5 years of consistent practice. Improved health, deeper relationships, natural confidence, and profound sense of inner freedom. Chapter 10. The Eternal Art, Letting Go as a Lifelong. You have now walked the complete path of the art of letting go, from understanding the struggle, through grief and fear, practical tools, forgiveness, surrender, new identity, and daily practice. In this final chapter, you'll see letting go not as a destination you reach once, but as an eternal art, a lifelong journey of graceful release that deepens with every year. You will discover how to carry this wisdom through all seasons of life, and how it becomes your greatest source of peace and freedom forever. This is where the practice becomes who you are. Stay with me until the end. This is the beginning of your liberated life. Letting go is not a chapter you finish and close. It is the quiet thread that runs through every chapter of your life. As long as you are alive, new attachments will form to people, dreams, roles, outcomes, and versions of yourself. The art is not to stop attaching completely. The art is to learn how to release with grace when the time comes. The most liberated people are not those who never hold on. They're the ones who have mastered the gentle, ongoing dance of holding what serves them and gracefully releasing what no longer does. In this final chapter, we look at letting go as a lifelong journey, how it evolves with age, how it supports you through every transition, and how it becomes the deepest source of wisdom, peace, and joy you will ever know. Many people treat letting go as a one-time project to fix their current pain. When an immediate crisis passes, they stop practicing and slowly accumulate new emotional weight. Life is full of constant change. Relationships end, careers shift, bodies age, dreams transform. Without viewing letting go as a lifelong art, you will keep repeating the same cycles of holding, suffering, and struggling to release. The eternal art means embracing letting go not as a tool for difficult moments, but as your natural way of moving through life, gracefully, compassionately, and with ever-deepening freedom. Meet Elias. Elias, now 68, had practiced the art of letting go for over 30 years. He had let go of a painful divorce in his 40s, the loss of his business in his 50s, and the gradual changes of aging in his 60s. He no longer sees letting go as something he has to do. It has become who he is, a man who moves lightly through life, grateful for what comes and graceful when it leaves. His children say he is the most peaceful person they know. Even facing health challenges, he releases fear and embraces each day with presence. Elias didn't master letting go once. He practiced it as a lifelong art, and it became his greatest wisdom. Letting go as a lifelong journey. The eternal art of letting go deepens and matures as you move through the seasons of life. Letting go in different life stages. In youth, releasing unrealistic expectations and identity pressures in midlife. Releasing old dreams that no longer fit and embracing new purpose in later years, releasing attachment to body, roles, and control over legacy. The ongoing cycle of attachment and release life naturally brings new attachments. The wisdom is knowing when to hold lightly and when to release with love. Advanced practices for lifelong mastery. The yearly letting go ceremony, mentorship, and sharing the art with others, turning every loss into quiet wisdom, cultivating a light touch with all of life. How letting go becomes your greatest teacher. Every release teaches you about impermanence, compassion, trust, and the beauty of presence. Over decades, this wisdom compounds in profound inner peace. Protecting the practice through all seasons, how to return to the practice gently when life gets busy or painful, without self-judgment. The ultimate gift of the eternal art, a life lived with lightness, deep gratitude, fearless presence, and unconditional love for yourself and for the ever-changing world around you. A final reflection: you are not meant to carry the weight of every story forever. You are meant to live lightly, love deeply, and release gracefully, again and again, until letting go feels like breathing. You have now explored the deep reasons we hold on, moved through the grief and fear of the unknown, learned powerful practical tools, practiced forgiveness, discovered the freedom of surrender, stepped into a new identity, and turned letting go into a daily way of life. The most important truth I want you to carry with you is this: Letting go is not giving up. It is making space for something lighter, wiser, and more beautiful to enter your life. You deserve to live with a light heart. You deserve to move through your days with presence and peace. You deserve to trust yourself and trust life. Every time an old attachment tries to return, gently remember the practices you have learned. Release with kindness, surrender with trust, and step into the next moment as the freer version of yourself. If this audiobook brought you even one moment of relief, one insight that shifted something inside, or one tool you already practice, please do these 3 things for me. Hit the like button. It truly helps this channel reach more people who need this wisdom. Leave a comment below with your biggest takeaway. Tell me, which chapter or practice resonated with you most? Subscribe to the Infinite Library and turn on the notification bell so you never miss future deep audiobook summaries and wisdom. You are not alone on this path. I am always here with you inside the Infinite Library. Until we meet again in the next book, let go gently, live lightly, and trust that what you release creates space for what is truly meant for you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next chapter of the Infinite Library.